The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees and shares all things new. I'm David Rioferio and you're watching Insights and Perspectives on TNC. Now let's talk about being part of the 59th Anvil Awards as a change maker. With PR, let's ignite conversations that change the world. Our guest for today is Leah M. Huang. She's Managing Director, PR and Influence of Ogilvy, Chairperson of the 59th Anvil Awards, and Vice President Internal of the Public Relations Society of the Philippines. Leah, welcome to the program.
Hello, David, and thank you for inviting PRSP to your program.
Ayun, thank you ha sa pagsama dito. Pakikwento naman sa amin, ano ba itong PRSP, Public Relations Society of the Philippines?
Okay, so the Public Relations Society of the Philippines is the oldest and one of the most respected associations of public relations professionals here in the country. It was set up in 1957, and today it's composed of PR professionals from across business and industry, government, nonprofit organizations, right? So I think the mission of PRSP is fivefold. First is to unite those engaged in PR, encourage continuing education among them, generate public confidence in PR by promoting high ethical practice, encouraging high standards of public service. Fourth, to play an active role in all matters that concern PR. And finally, strengthen the relationships of the individuals who compose the association. So that's PR.
So ang daming pillars nun, ano? I think nagbo-boil down siya sa pagkakaroon ng connections ng organization to the stakeholders. Gaano kahalaga yon? Hindi ba mag-e-exist ang mga companies or mahihirapan ba sila mag-operate kung wala silang mutually beneficial relationship with their stakeholders?
I think super important na yung trust and credibility, diba? So that's what PR brings to the table. We coexist with the other marketing practices, advertising, digital marketing, social, and even activation, right? And what PR brings is greater awareness and building trust and credibility, which is important to every organization.
Yeah, so hindi lang siya yeah, please continue.
No, and we do that by really connecting with what we call influencers, right? And we don't just mean media and content creators, but an influencer can be anybody that the target audience respects and believes, diba? So as we know, rather than telling your audience that you're good, it's better if somebody else, third party, says it. It's more credible, and that's the basic principle behind PR.
So it's the 59th Anvil Awards. Companies are busy preparing their entries. Nalala ko na when I was still with the telco, talagang nagpupuyatan kami para lang matapos magawa yung mga entries. Ngayon ba, meron kaming dapat asahan na something new from the Anvils, the criteria, the theme, the processes?
Well, yung deadline natin is fast approaching. So Monday na. Next Monday, November 20th.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, well, there's still enough days to prepare an entry, I
Yeah.
think, especially if you know your campaign very well. Ano? So just to give our listeners some background, each year, PRSP launches the Anvil Awards to recognize outstanding PR work. So this work can come in the form of campaigns or probably PR tools, right? So, but we worthy of an award the results must show that these initiatives have driven credibility and real business results. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so um, they go through careful screening by selected PR professionals who are part of the board of judges, right, and the distinguished multi-sectoral jury.
Mm-hmm.
So we are now on our 59th Anvil Awards. You can just imagine kung grabe yung dami na, di ba? The huge body of work that we
Yeah.
have celebrated before us. What's new? Sige. So this year, yung categories are something we have now aligned with our other local and international competitions. So as you
Mm.
know, our practice has really evolved over time. So today, the categories you will find on our website, prsp.ph, now include um, not just work across the different industries, FMC,
Mm-hmm.
tech, even automotive is there now, health,
Mm-hmm.
but also work in investor and government relations, for example, or categories that highlight best practice in social media, in
Mm-hmm.
influencers, working with multimedia, for example. And I think also what's interesting is that today, kasi, campaigns can be led by PR. So we have a category for best PR-led integrated campaign. I think that's
Mm, nice.
right. And as usual, we look forward to the big awards, which include the Diamond Tools, the best in class for our PR programs, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
Agency of the Year, Company of the Year. So
And
we
the,
can look
mhm.
forward to January, end of January 2024 for Ang Gabi ng Parangal.
Just
Uh,
wanna highlight ano, kapag nag-submit ang isang company, madaming ano 'to 'no, screening na nagaganap and then meron tayong respectable na board of jurors, tama ba?
we have a screening committee, unang-una, to make sure that everything required of an entry is there. And then it goes to a board of judges. And then
Mhm.
finally, ultimately, who the group that will decide on who is worthy of the higher awards will be a board of jurors. Yeah.
Okay. So ayan, for those listening and watching, pinag-iisipan pong maigi ha ang mga entries na sinasubmit at pinag-aaralan din kung sino ang a-awardan. Nabanggit ko 'to 'no, Lea, kasi ang dami ko nakikitang awards na ngayon ano, na parang nagsulputan na lang sila na, left and right pwede kang manalo. So this time, talagang alam niyo naman, 59th na itong,
Mhm.
round na ito ng Anvil Awards and talaga namang, industry standard yung ginagamit na, materials dito. Igniting conversations that change the world. Paano siya ginagawa kung ako'y isang PR practitioner?
Okay. So I think what's important is to really well, there's several things that go behind a successful strategy. Let's put it that way. One,
Mhm.
I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to be dialed into insights and to the strategy. Right. So
Okay.
everything starts from there, and we need to think about that. Now we also need to know the target audience that we are speaking to. What are
Mhm.
their communication touch points? What is relevant to them? So with those two in mind, now we communicate the messages that we need, right? So in effect, that is that. Now, if you're working for a business or an organization with business results in mind, then we also um, make sure that whatever we're doing will positively impact the business results that we're looking for. But in effect, when you talk about PR is all about generating awareness, right? It is
Mhm.
all about generating trust and credibility, as I said. But PR does not directly impact sales. So that's something I need to make clear.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so PR very often is slow burn because you're building relationships. Um, but we work hand in hand together with the advertising, with digital marketing, and it is really those other marketing practices that build the engagement for us.
Mhm. Ang ano, parang complicated siya masyado, no? Pero you've been in the industry for quite some time. You're managing director of Ogilvy. Ano to, since ba nung nag-aral ka sa college, talagang target mo na, I wanna be a PR practitioner? Ano mga trainings dapat or conferences ang ina-attendan para maging good practitioner like you?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm past my third decade working in PR and communications. My first 20
Mhm.
years were as a client, right? And then now it's my 15th year at Ogilvy. So you can imagine I've had the privilege to have worked with many successful award-worthy campaigns already. Um,
Mhm.
how do you prepare for it? Okay. I took a communications and a marketing course in college. I think that
Mhm.
there gives you the groundwork, but really a lot of it you will learn it on the job. But I
Okay.
think what's really important is that you keep educating yourself, right? You you need to keep abreast of what is relevant today in the shifting PR landscape. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
platforms are we using? Who are the influencers that now talk to different target audiences? What are our colleagues in PR also doing? Right. Um, so first, get your basic education.
Mm-hmm.
That said, however, there are many courses that you can even take online just to get a basic read of how PR works, and then a lot of it you learn on the job. Um,
Okay.
and just keep updating yourself with the relationships that you create through the PR industry.
Mhm. Nabanggit mo kanina yung it's a slow burning process pagdating sa PR. Bakit kailangan na dahan-dahanin yung pag-build ng relationships with your clients or stakeholders?
Correct. So, David, di ba, as with any relationship, it happens over time, hindi siya instant. Kasi yung trust in the
Mhm.
other person is also built over time. So, ganun din yung
Yeah.
PR. Di ba?
Mm.
Hindi pwedeng, so very different. That's where we're different from advertising. Kasi you need to
Okay.
build that relationship between you and your audience or you and your partners para, yung credibility mo ay nandyan. And the trust is
Mm.
there forward. So,
Mm.
it begins with something basic, but then the relationship deepens over time. And
Mhm.
I think that's probably an analogy I would use for PR.
Mhm. Usually anong metrics yung ginagamit dito? Kunwari tinanong ka ng boss mo or ng client mo. So, ano nang result ng ating PR campaign na ginawa? Ano ng mga relationships ang na-build?
Okay. So, I'll rewind a little bit, di ba? In the past, ang ginagamit
Mhm.
ay PR values. Yun yung
Yeah.
industry practice. So, basically, what it means is whatever came out in media, whether that be in print, broadcast, i-measure mo yon, kasi equate mo to
Mhm.
how much you would pay to have placed that in the
Yeah.
paper or in broadcast. So, that's basically your PR and your ad value. But over
Mhm.
time, that has evolved, and internationally, there is now other metrics that we need to look at.
Mhm.
The most basic of which is impressions, right?
Okay.
Impressions allows you then to measure as apples to apples yung earned mo versus yung paid.
Mhm.
So that whoever is in charge of marketing, for example, and PR can now see, okay, this is my earned value, which is so much bigger dapat than my paid, right?
Mhm.
Um, but now, because the lines are also blurring between what we do at PR and what, for example, digital marketing does, we're also now measuring other metrics that look at reach, for example, and
Mhm.
engagement. Yeah, especially as we're dealing now even with content creators. Diba? How many times
Yeah.
was that piece of content shared over time? Uh,
Mhm.
and we take into consideration the influencers' reach as well.
Mhm. I'll take a step furthermore, no? Pag sinabi mong influencers, ito yung madalas na nakita natin sa social media, right? The one na mga sikat sila, ganyan. Anong masasabi mo doon as a professional kapag yung content nila hindi naman um, paano ba? Hindi gaanong swak doon
Uh,
sa sa value na sana meron sila. Kumbaga sayang. Sayang yung reach nila, tas ito lang yung ibinabato nila na material. Okay lang ba 'yon? Kung yun ang kanilang target personally, and then for brands, how do I get the perfect fit for me?
Correct. So again, I'll go back to your strategy. Diba? So, okay, who are we talking to? And it's important for the brand to remain authentic, right? Na
Uh-huh.
maghahanap ka talaga ng um, influencer or creator that aligns with the vision values of the brand.
Mhm.
So it does happen, right? Na sometimes we look lang at yung kanyang reach, the influencer's reach,
Yeah.
and then tap this person even if it does the person's content does not really align with the values of the brand, for example, or the
Mhm.
organization. So that will not be as effective as somebody who is credible in the space. For example,
Okay.
if you're talking about sustainability, you would
Mhm.
not just maybe partner with an influencer who was never known to be part of that conversation, right?
Uh-huh.
So ganon din siya. So when you strategize who you're going to work with to communicate the message, those people, and I'm not just talking about content creators, that might be key opinion
Mhm.
leaders, di ba?
Yeah.
Or even our particular organizations you will partner with, dapat lahat yan naka-align dun sa vision ng company or brand and the key messages that need to be communicated.
Okay, clear. Thank you, huh? What pressing issues in the country today do you think kailangan ng tulong ng public relations practitioners.
Oh, David, ang dami niyan, di ba? I think yung
Oo, exciting na to.
value, the value that the communicators like us bring
Uh-huh.
is so much, right? And all the more if we do it together. But
Yeah.
I'll give you a watch list and maybe you can also comment. So let's just go back to the role of PR, which is really
Okay.
shaping positive narratives, fostering understanding, driving
Mhm.
meaningful change, right? Whether that be in the boardroom or out in the public. So
Okay.
they can be very powerful, let's say, in addressing public health and safety, right?
Mhm.
So pandemics, health crises, we can help disseminate accurate information,
Mm.
combat misinformation, promote public health measures, and similar information to keep everybody abreast as a credible source of information. Number two,
Mhm.
there is climate change, there is environmental sustainability. Again, PR can raise efforts to raise awareness and promote action. Um,
Mhm.
how about social justice and equality? Another one, right? So, um, in the space of diversity and inclusion, for example, I see a lot of colleagues already very active in fostering these narratives.
Mhm.
And this is also being picked up in the different platforms. Or how about community engagement if we need to move people to action to help local communities or support a particular cause?
Mhm.
And then there's more like economic challenges, right? Everywhere we look, um, entrepreneurs are gearing up for growth. PR can support initiatives that help them with job creation or maybe
Uh-huh.
further their business objectives or help communicate government policies and corporate initiatives, right? Aimed at maybe helping SMEs, for example.
Mhm.
What else? Financial literacy. We're seeing our colleagues in the financial services industry also helping our especially the youth, di ba, with financial literacy or those who are unbanked. Um,
Mhm.
Education, political engagement, the list goes on. I think in every sphere there is something that we as communicators can do to help with awareness, with promoting advocacies that foster continued growth.
Mhm. Sa Ogilvy, meron ka bang mga campaigns, halimbawa, ongoing in the past, na pwede mong ma-share?
Okay, so one comes to mind, and it will still be one of my favorites, and although it's been some time ago. We used to work with the Department of Education, and
Okay.
in particular, there was one big project between the DepEd and the League of Corporate Foundations called 10
Mhm.
Moves. And this was, gosh, some time ago, but it did address the public school classroom shortage and public
Mhm.
school resource shortage. So it was just asking the public to donate 10 moves siya kasi 10 pesos every day for 10 months, right?
Mhm.
To be
Naalala ko
able
'to.
to,
Mm.
you remember that? So, yes, so we were very involved in that project and when it really celebrated when that was successful. More recently, we're working, and this is continuing, we're working with an organization called Mind You. Uh,
Mhm.
they are focused on data-driven mental health care solutions. So, in
Okay.
short, we're looking for a modern approach to helping mental health, especially
Okay.
among the youth. So, what we're doing is we're working now with them and gaming. So, the program
Good.
offers young gamers free mental health education and consultation from the licensed psychologists of Mind You. And what we do is
Mhm.
we put the healers in the actual
Mhm.
game, right? So
Ang
they interact
galing.
with these games like Valorant. They all have healer characters in game, right?
Okay.
So it will be very easy for a person who's playing the game to approach the healer, and then there's a way for them to actually get consultation, which can continue offline.
Wow,
And
so it happens
that is the
online sa
concept.
game?
Yes,
Sa
it
game
happens
mismo?
online in the game, but
Wow.
the consultation can continue offline. So what we've
Uh-huh.
done is also work with other partners. So we at Ogilvy are also a partner, right, to fund these
Mm.
sessions. But I mean, we'd love to invite other people to be part of this campaign with Mind You, which is actually making such a difference for young people who are seeking help in this space.
Yeah, ang galing nun, kasi, I'm working with World Vision for children, ano, and then we're seeing a trend na mataas yung discussion about depression and suicide. Kasi 'di ba merong related na news, though hindi pa naman confirmed na gano'n yung nangyari. Paano nyo naisip na, sige, dapat dun tayo sa gamification mapunta?
Okay. There's a number. It actually started with our with some of our creative leaders. At
Mhm.
Ogilvy kasi we put a premium on mental health and wellness, so it's always top of mind
Good.
for us, right? So
Mhm.
in some of our brainstorming, we're thinking how could we possibly help as a creative agency, as a PR
Mhm.
agency, right? Using tech.
Okay.
So, nauwi na rin doon sa gaming because we actually have a client also that is in the gaming space, right? So,
Mhm.
um, and the rest is history, right? So we've
Yeah, yeah.
already done like a first run of it, and it was quite successful. So we're also now working with other organizations have raised their hands to keep this campaign. I would even call it a campaign. It's a program on now of Mind You.
Mhm.
Keep it going. So it's a way for us to reach out to young people who otherwise would not reach out for help from organizations like Mind You.
Okay. Atras ako ng 10 moves. Pakikwento nga uli sa amin. So, anong role ninyo doon? You created the materials for promotion or sa programming, nandun din kayo? How did you do it?
Yes, okay. So, nagsimula siya sa communication strategy. Like I said, everything starts from there, right? So, and then from there, nakita na namin yung tinatawag naming channel palette kung anong role ng advertising, ano yung role ng PR, ano yung role ng other social, for example, right?
Mhm.
And activation. Oh, and then
Mhm.
so for us then, we worked with our colleagues also in Ogilvy Advertising to come up with some ads for
Uh-huh.
free that were used by DepEd to promote this. And then we would also, as PR naman, we would create content that we would then ask our partners to publish on a regular basis, right? And this was also carried by some key opinion leaders. This was some time ago, so wala pa yung mga influencers at the time, no?
Okay.
But I
Oo.
just felt that what we wanted to do was really create talkability, make it top of mind for every Filipino. At least if they were only able to donate 10 pesos a day for 10 months, that
Mhm.
would be enough already to um, help with the shortage of public school classrooms.
Oo, sige. Thank you for sharing those, ha. Siguro ang tanong ng madami, so how do we win an anvil? Anong dapat na meron sa package namin? Dapat ba maganda ang videos, ang photos, or paano ba? Do we look at the objectives, the metrics that we use?
So there are 5 parts to the entry, right? So you
Mm.
identify muna ano yung situation which needs a solution from PR.
Mhm.
Tapos sino yung target audience mo? So we should be able to deep dive into their current situation and
Yeah.
maybe surface an insight that we can use in our communication.
Mhm.
Next, we will ask you to explain how you did it. But
Mm.
ultimately, I think a big chunk of it for the judges will be ano yung naging resulta niya, right? So,
Mhm.
um, hindi na kasi enough ang impression, ang PR values, right?
Okay.
Sana,
Mm.
I think to make it really strong,
Mhm,
if we
mhm.
can link it to a having moved the needle on the business objective as it was described in the first part,
Yeah, yeah.
and it will make it very strong. Okay, so
Mhm.
that part needs to be very clear. Yung
Okay.
ano yung naging resulta niya.
When you look at impressions, when you do social listening, 'di ba meron mga subscriptions yan na paid halimbawa. Kung ako naman ay isang company na halimbawa walang pang-connect with Meltwater or those mga nagme-measure ng ganitong uh, things, anong pwede naming gawin as an
Meron
organization?
namang free tools online. Uh,
Okay.
I
Mhm.
mean, at the most basic, when you talk about reach, right? If it's print, then you look at your distribution, right? Your readership,
Okay.
with
Mhm.
broadcast, and so forth and so on. If you're dealing with an influencer, meron naman silang ano din dun. If you look at their stats, you will also see
Mhm.
and impressions, etc. So maybe you can go with that, right? So how many articles came out in particular publications? More or less, you can estimate the impressions. But at the end of the day, how many pickups did you get, and what did it do to move the needle on the objective? I think
Okay.
that would be the ultimate result that we are looking for.
Ang daming
Or was
ginagawa ng
there a
mga
change
mm.
in behavior? May change ba in behavior? Kung
Oh,
internal
good.
siya, di ba? Did
Oo.
it succeed in building the culture?
Okay.
It was an event. Did it really hit the objectives that were set initially for the particular event? Or even if it
Mm-hmm.
is kasi meron din tayong tools, di ba? May mga
Yeah.
coffee table book, meron tayong mga newsletters, brochures. As long as
Mm-hmm.
very clear yung objective niya, di ba? For the judges to see results versus objectives. We can be very creative about how we describe the results.
Mm-hmm. How important is it for PR practitioners to be active in organizations like PRSP? I know very busy ang trabaho natin, pero ikaw, halimbawa, paano ka nagkakaroon ng extra time and effort, to be chairperson of the 59th Anvil Awards and VP Internal of PRSP?
Honestly, it's my first year to be really active. I've always been a
Uh-huh.
member, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
But this year I felt maybe it's time for me to serve.
Mm-hmm.
After 30 years, it's time for me to serve. So we're all volunteers. Um, but I guess there is still so much kasi for us to do for the
Okay.
practice of public relations, right? Time was when we would be involved, is only involved at the end na of the strategizing of campaign. Kasi kailangan ng
Mm,
press
yeah.
release or,
Correct. Correct.
awareness. Pero not anymore. Today, we need
Uh-huh.
to understand that we have as much right to be right there at the table because there is so much value that we bring. So now I was saying, di ba, there are campaigns that are PR-led. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's important in your continued, I guess, progress as a PR professional to keep
Mm-hmm.
yourself abreast of what's happening in the industry, and hence it helps to be part of an association like PRSP. Because
Okay.
even just attending the GMMs, the general membership meetings, there is always a keynote speaker who talks about a particular trend or
Mm-hmm.
something that's happening within the industry that everybody must know about. Even just that, diba? So that you also know how you must evolve your craft and yourself as a professional in the industry.
Okay. Nice. What practical advice can you offer PR practitioners as they help ignite conversations that change the world?
Um, okay, so going back to one, there must always be strategy. It can't always just be tactical, right? So when we create a
Mm-hmm.
campaign, number two, be updated on the changing landscape. See how the landscape is also changing for our partners, diba? In media, our
Mm-hmm.
partners who run the platforms, those are the content creators, right? And find win-win solutions where you can co-create content that talks about the messages you need to talk about. Third, keep learning. Join PRSP, um, seek ways also to understand other practices that PR works with, di ba? Because I was saying
Mm-hmm.
the lines are blurring now. You can't
Mm-hmm.
anymore tell what is advertising, what is PR. Sometimes content is content. It can be PR, it can be advertising. Stay connected to communicators like us, like yourself. Um, and you can even learn within your own business, right? I always like to say I continue to learn every day from the Gen Z colleagues I have at work in the same way that
Mm-hmm.
from me because they are also our audience.
Yeah. Okay. So once again, please invite them to join the 59th Anvil Awards and your closing message, please.
Okay, so just a quick shout out to all my colleagues in public relations. We still have 5 days to go before the Anvil Awards deadline at the close of business on November 20. Show us your best work in PR that we might possibly be able to celebrate at the end of January at the Anvil Awards Gabi ng Parangal. To be eligible, just to repeat, no, your campaigns should have been implemented and shown results between October 2022 and September 2023. And you can access all the necessary forms and details on our website, prsp.ph. Thank you very much, David, for inviting me to be part of the
Okay.
program today.
Thank you so much, Leia. I'm David from Insights and Perspectives. God bless you.